Hello and welcome everyone to our webinar. Today we would like to give you an insight on how to enable automotive service business. Therefore, we will start off by providing you some background information on the automotive service business and finish up with a demonstration of our digital platform called Pantaris. But before we jump into the topic, let me quickly introduce myself and also my colleague. My name is Laura Kürzel. I'm a sales engineer at the ITAS GmbH and working in the area of vehicle cloud services. As I already mentioned, I brought my colleague Rico Renger with me today. He's also part of the ITAS and the senior product owner of Pantaris. Hence, he will take over for the demonstration. Right. After you're aware of whom you're talking with today, let me briefly outline what we'd like to show you. We'll start with a little introduction of the ITAS. After that, we will directly jump into the topic and show you some challenges of automotive service business. In the next step, we would like to present you the solution for all of these challenges, our cloud-based integration platform called Pantaris. After you're aware of what Pantaris is, we would like to highlight the benefits of using it. In the end, we will finish up with a live demonstration and are happy to address your questions. Okay, as I already mentioned, I would like to briefly introduce the company we are working for. The ITAS GmbH is a 100% subsidiary of the Robert Bosch GmbH. It was founded in 1994 and has about 2,100 employees working from 31 locations in 12 countries. ITAS has a strong automotive focus, with a portfolio covering the areas of vehicle basic software, middleware, cybersecurity, cloud-based services, and also consulting services. Our mission is to empower tomorrow's automotive software and thereby make the software-defined vehicle become reality. So, enough basic information, let's jump into the topic. We will start off with a quote by a famous author who has actually nothing to do with the automotive service business. The quote is by Mark Twain and it says, "Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection." This quote perfectly describes what is currently going on in the automotive industry. The future of automotive software is characterized by continuous development and operation. Instead of developing software and hardware components together until perfection like it was done in the past, in the future, vehicle software and services will be continuously developed, operated, and also delivered to the vehicle pre and post start of production. We as ITAS are addressing this fundamental change. With our solutions, such as the digital platform Pantaris, we tackle challenges along the way and enable automotive service business. So let's have a closer look at the challenges. All challenges we are addressing can be allocated along the so-called development and operation cycle you can see over here. This cycle shows, like the name already says, the stages of service development and operation. But how do we define an automotive service? Well, according to our understanding, a service is a marketable, independent, web-based or connected solution focusing on a specific automotive domain, or it can also be domain agnostic. This means it is a digital solution, either focusing on a specific domain like powertrain, or it can also be cross domains. It can potentially also include vehicle hardware, but of course, we are also able to you're also able to provide fully web-based or cloud-based solutions. An example would be fleet management service, for example, which gathers vehicle data and shows them on a dashboard. Well, with this definition in mind, please imagine you are a service developer now. You had a great idea to develop an automotive service and you want to realize your vision. The first thing you might be doing would be to plan your service. While doing so, you might come across the first major entry barrier into service business, because setting up a service from scratch requires a high initial investment into infrastructure and its maintenance, for example. Spending a high amount of money into infrastructure bears the risk that the whole investment will be lost if the service is discontinued. In addition, the industry-wide scarcity of development resources is another challenge to be solved, because obviously there are not too many developers available on the market. When it comes to coding and building your service, each company and developer has a preferred coding language or set of databases. Unifying this is not easy. On top of that, compatibility issues with existing systems or hardware are quite difficult to handle. For achieving the best possible solution, a close collaboration of developers from different domains and departments is required. Achieving this collaboration, especially in a global setup, is not easy. When testing your service, a dedicated environment independent from the productive one is required. Otherwise, incidents during testing might cause damage to your productive system. After your service is developed, it needs to be released, promoted, and also sold to the right target group. Defining a target group and market is relatively easy. Getting access to it, well, that's another story and often related to a high amount of promotion and sales activities. With increasing awareness, the number of users of your service will rise, and therefore a way of simply and quickly scaling the service is required. During operation, KPIs and costs need to be closely monitored. Doing this manually for each and every service causes a very high workload. In addition, a continuous operation and also support has to be ensured. For improving the service, insights on the user behavior are indispensable, but often quite difficult to gain. But not only the service developers are facing several challenges when it comes to automotive service business, those who are looking for a service to improve their daily business do too. And we call this group of people service users. Often, potential service users are exposed to a flood of services existing on the market. Figuring out which service fits their needs best is very, very time consuming. On top of that, digital services often require special hardware or software components. To ensure a strong performance, these requirements need to be fulfilled. If they are not covered by existing hardware or software solutions, new equipment has to be purchased. Sometimes there are even compatibility issues with existing systems. In addition, service users are often requiring more than just one service to cover their entire use case. Therefore, a compatibility between the services is indispensable, but not always ensured. Another challenge is that teams working with the same service are often globally distributed. Collaboration and management of resources, for example, of a vehicle fleet, can hardly be managed. We as ETAS are solving these provider and user challenges. We offer a cloud-based integration platform called Pantaris. Pantaris is the all-in-one solution enabling your automotive service business, no matter on which kind of site you are. Generally, the solution can be compared to an app store, but in a business-to-business sense. Therefore, it has two sides: a service developer and provider portal, where services can be created, and a marketplace site where service providers can sell and users can book services. With the service provider portal, we enable the development, release, and operation of vehicle-centric services. The marketplace can be used as a sales channel. In addition, we provide a diverse service offering on the marketplace consisting of ETAS, Bosch, and soon also external services covering various use cases. As mentioned already, with the different sides of Pantaris, we are addressing various target groups. The first group are the service developers. Service developers might have an idea of what kind of service they would like to develop. However, if they consider the development and operation of the service, they need to set up an infrastructure before they actually start developing. This means they are basically starting from scratch. With Pantaris, we are addressing these developers or even development teams with our service provider portal. An example for this group might be automotive startups or even companies which are new to automotive service business. The second group are the service providers. Service providers have an existing service, but need a way to quickly and easily scale, operate, and sell this service. With our tools, in the service provider portal and also in the marketplace, we provide an ideal sales channel and foundation for the service operations. Companies belonging to this group can be development service providers, for example. The service users are the last group in this graphic. Service users are searching for a solution covering their use cases. On the Pantaris marketplace, we offer them the right service for their business. These companies can be car manufacturers or Tier 1 suppliers, for example. Right. In order to get to know you a little bit better, we prepared a little poll for you, which you can find in this chat soon. And the question would be, which kind of these group reflects your interest or even current position best? Is it the service developer, service provider, or service user, or even none of them? It would be great if you participate. Great. So the poll should be available now, I guess. And The poll will be open during the whole presentation, or at least until Rico will take over for the demonstration, because we will take the results into account to adapt the demonstration a little bit to your interest. Right. So let's move on. What you can see here is the basic technical setup of Pantaris. Don't worry, we won't go into much detail today. We have another webinar going on for that. So the only thing I would like to highlight here is that Pantaris is a container-based, fully managed and monitored, as well as easy to integrate and to use solution. As you can see in the graphic, the whole setup is based on a public cloud. It is complemented with a Kubernetes infrastructure for orchestration, including Docker containers for containerization. In addition, we have various core components. These include an access and write, storage, and data management, as well as a Git repository and registry. In addition, we have an API management building block. This block ensures that APIs can be used for connecting external systems. When creating a service based on our infrastructure, each service has its own independent productive and also sandbox instance. The access to Pantaris is provided via the service provider portal, marketplace, or project frontend. But you will get to know these parts a little bit better throughout our demonstration. On top of this, the entire Pantaris components are closely monitored to ensure a reliant and seamless operation. After this little technical digression, let's have a look at Pantaris and how Pantaris solves the challenges of service business. And we will also take into consideration how the challenges are turned into benefits. So let's have a look at the benefits from the service developer's perspective first again. Our platform reduces the entry barrier into service business by minimizing the initial investment risk. Due to our managed infrastructure, there is no need for the service developers to invest into an own infrastructure setup. This reduces the initial investment and the risk to be stuck in a long-term contract for infrastructure provision, for example. In addition, the infrastructure we provide is continuously managed and maintained. We offer ready-to-use containerized runtime environments. These environments enable service developers and providers to focus on their core competencies. Instead of occupying them with a setup of infrastructure, they can focus on the development of unique service features. As mentioned already in the technical overview, our whole setup is based on Kubernetes and Docker. Therefore, development teams can bring their own coding languages and databases. REST APIs, which are also provided by our solution, enable a connection with existing systems and also with hardware. In addition, we offer an environment where developers can collaboratively work on their services. Within this environment, we provide various tools for collaboration. One tool is the version control, for example. With this tool, software versions can be managed and saved. Hence, a simultaneous development is possible without losing an overview of the versions. For ensuring an incident-free testing, we provide a sandbox instance, which is completely separate from the productive one. Our Pantaris Marketplace is the ideal sales channel for automotive services. It provides access to new users inside and also outside Bosch, and thereby simplifies sales activities. On top of that, an integration of existing services hosted externally is possible. For a seamless operation and a quick scaling of services, some additional tools are available. An instance handling for quickly orchestrating customer resources, for example, or a cost overview of all user projects. Additionally, we offer some usage-based pricing, which ensures an effortless scaling. Pantaris also provides a continuously managed operation and support. For future improvement of services, a statistics tool is providing insights on the user behavior. Since we are all through the development and operation cycle now, we are going to switch perspectives again. So let's have a look at Pantaris from a user's point of view. Through our central and diverse marketplace, service users are able to quickly find a suitable service for their use case. On top of that, all services offered are running in the cloud and can be accessed via web browser. Therefore, there are no special requirements on hardware or software to run a service. Another benefit is that all services can be linked with existing systems and are interoperable with other services available on Pantaris. This enables service users to build up an entire toolchain to solve their daily challenges. Our project-based setup, including resource management and planning tools, is enabling a seamless collaboration across global teams. In addition, each of our services has its own benefits, speaking for themselves, of course. Right. Let me give you an example of how a service setup might look like and how different services can be linked. Please imagine you are a service user now and want to measure, validate, and calibrate your fleet of test vehicles. In the first step, you need to virtually create your vehicle fleet and organize the whole testing phase. Therefore, you could use our fleet organizer service, for example. After that, you might want to start your test drive. However, in order to be as efficient as possible, you want to have a remote desktop connection to the vehicle. This connection supports your driver in the vehicle and enables you to continuously monitor the vehicle data. In addition, you can remotely change the parameters of the data collection. For doing this, the remote bridge service of Fleet Explorer can be used. All data streamed from the vehicle will be directly uploaded to Pantaris. For this, the FileSync service is required. After that, the data can be analyzed with the ETAS Analytics toolbox, for example. Most of the services I've just mentioned are from the first service provider on our platform called Bosch Engineering GmbH. This example perfectly shows how to build a toolchain with Pantaris services to cover entire use cases. So all in all, Pantaris enables automotive service business by again enabling service providers and users. From the support during development, release, and operation of services to the communication with the vehicle. We provide the full set of solutions. However, enough theory. Let's jump into the live system and have a look at Pantaris. If you have a closer look at the marketplace, I am sure you can spot the services I've just mentioned. But anyways, Rico, the stage is yours.
Perfect. Thanks, Laura, for the warm introduction. Hopefully you guys now understand, at least on a high level, the challenges we want to address and the approach of our entire ecosystem. If I look at the results of the poll, it looks like most of you are interested in the provider side, so the side who actually organize and operate services in our ecosystem. So we will jump into that directly, and afterwards I will show you something regarding the user perspective, so the customer of your services of our ecosystem. Let me share my screen. And now we are in our service provider portal. So let me say once upfront, our entire system is already up and running. We are based on the right now. We are based on an AWS cloud. With the middle of the year, we are shifting to Azure cloud to bring in some new functionalities and to be more future-proofed. But in general, jump into the portal right now. What you see here is the first step you need to do as a provider of a service. We have two different approaches to integrate a new service into our ecosystem. It's fairly easy. Once you registered, you can open our portal at portal.pantaris.io and simply click on create, and you can create a new environment. We have two different kinds of applications. We have standard applications that are hosted on our infrastructure, on our ecosystem, and it's heavily integrated out of the box into everything I will show you. And we have the option for third-party hosted applications. For example, if you already have a web application up and running and want to bring it into our ecosystem, we have different kind of interfaces to integrate your already existing solution in our marketplace, in our ecosystem. But what I will show you today is mainly the standard implementation. With one click, it's fairly easy. You click on next, you give your application name, you set up you as a publisher. You can fill the entire working space with already existing demo content to get in more quickly. But I, of course, have already prepared an environment. So this demo service is a new application we want to develop. So this is our provider portal. This is the functionalities, the feature set we are offering for the providing side, for the developing side of such a service. You start up with an overview page to get an overview about all the latest activities of your application, get an overview about the instances that are up and running. I came to that later on. Get a cost overview and see the actual state of your marketplace appearance in the overview page. But let's start from the beginning. So the first thing I will do if I want to develop an application, of course, I will staff my team. That's where I go into our Access tab and simply add everyone from my team who is involved in bringing an application into life. So we're not just adding the development team, but also everyone who's related in here. Data scientists, designers, of course, the sales team, the marketing team, but also the roles who are involved in coordinating this team. So it's not just an development environment, it's a management environment as well. So you have the possibilities to get an overview about the state of your application, the performance of your application, and also the appearance, but more on that later on. Right now, I will simply click on add, give some type in the email address of my colleague who wants to be part of my development team. And once I'm added him, they get a specific role with a specific right side behind it. So you have specific permissions in this demo service environment. After that, usually the development of an application starts, and what we offers in the first instance is some state-of-the-art version control. Everyone who developed things these days know what Git is. What we are offering is a Git server with every functionalities you need for version control. So we have an easy guide how to connect to our Git service, and it's already up and running for everyone who want to use it. In this case, for example, we have one main branch in our applications and different kinds of versions from 1.0.0 to 2.0.0 in different development states or different approval states. So in general, I can use my own working environment, my own development tools, and I simply use our Git server to bring in your code into our ecosystem. Let's say I'm already done with one version of my code, for example, the 1.1.0 application, as 1.1.0 state of my code. And I want to try it out. I want to see if it's running in our ecosystem, if it's feasible for everyone. So what I can do right now is simply go into our sandbox environment, click on start, and then I'm able to select my specific code type. In this case, the main branch and the version branch 1.1.0 is already committed. I can choose a project for accessing specific data in my application. So if I want to consume specific data already in the sandbox environment, I can select some kind of projects here. Now I can select the package size I need for my application. The package size is a specific amount of computing power of CPU and memory. And also storage that's needed for my application to run. I will come to that later on. Now I can simply click on start to run my code in our environment. The basic idea behind it is to push your application code with a specification of the container file into our system, and everything else runs on our side. So you don't have any issues with bringing in your infrastructure or something like that. So everything runs at our side, everything scales at our side. We're doing things like the load balancing and so on. So nothing from you is needed to improve your infrastructure or something like that. So I could simply click on start. I already have a sandbox up and running. In this case, it's just a new front end for equipment workload, but this doesn't matter for this presentation right now. And of course, I can do everything regarding starting, stopping the sandbox, and also have a dashboard to get a closer look what's up in this particular application. So you can see everything related: workload, CPU usage, how much, how your application is performing in general. Once I'm satisfied with my application, with my code, and I say, okay, I want to bring it to the market, my application, the development is done, then different things could be done right now. I think the first thing is I want to bring it in a marketplace. As we already mentioned, we're offering a marketplace for the users, for the customers of this kind of applications. So let's take a closer look on how to bring it into our marketplace. It's barely easy. Everyone in this round who already implemented or already bring, for example, an iOS application in the market or something similar, already knows this type of marketplace approach, but I will go through it anyway. First of all, you need to type in all the informations you want to publish regarding your application. For example, the name of the application, who is the publisher, what's the availability of your service. We have different kind of availability types already implemented in our platform, from limited, public, and confidential. This describes who can see your service in the marketplace and who can access it. For example, if it's public, everyone can see it in the marketplace and everyone can use it out of the box. If it's limited, everyone can see your service in the marketplace, so you can use the marketplace as a point to advertise your application. But it's not possible that everyone starts it. He has to request the service to the service usage. And the confidential part is for private applications. So if you want to develop something just for your team, for your company, you can also use this marketplace approach to share it just with your colleagues and not with the open world. Also, you can bring in all the contact information that needs to be provided, for example, support address, a web page, and so on. And of course, everything regarding legal documents, an imprint, terms of use, privacy notes, and so on can be uploaded into a marketplace or linked, so that the person who's interested in your service can get all the legal information in one place as well. Also, we have the definition of your service, so in which version you want to publish it. As you might remember, we already talked about the version control of our system. You can publish the service in different versions from our approach, and the maturity of your service. Of course, we have different maturities in our ecosystem. Specifically, if we talk about new and innovative things, there might be difference and might be some test phases needed, and you can publish it in different states as well, so to make it easily understandable for our customers what they are buying right now. Of course, as well, we talk about the short descriptions and long descriptions for your service, bring in gallery images for eye catchers, for descriptive imagery, and so on. And once I'm done with my marketplace appearance, I can simply click on publishing. The service already published, so it's already grayed out. But the entire process is described here as well. So we already created the application versions, as I shown to you. We built the version in the sandbox to try it out. We defined our marketplace appearance to define what the user actually see in the marketplace, and then we want to publish it. Then our team comes in. You send this application to publishing. We will check your application regarding our guidelines, our security guidelines, style guides, and everything else that can be done from our side. And if you fit to our guidelines, your service can be published and is live in our marketplace. I will show the entire marketplace and the behavior from user's perspective afterwards, but let's get into the operating of the service. Let's say your service is running in the marketplace. You have now different functionalities to operate and to monitor your service. First of all, maybe from a manager perspective, we can talk about statistics. We have different kind of KPIs that measure the actual performance of your service. For example, how many users in total are using your service, how many projects want to use your service, but also the performance in our marketplace. So how many people looked at your service, how many impressions you have, and in general, how your service, how many interest your service is bringing into our ecosystem, and how many people are interested in to be more general. That's something that's really important, I think, especially for everyone who is coordinating the service or who actually want to see how much sales power is behind our marketplace and behind the service. The next thing is billing. That's something to bring your cost structure in a more transparent way. So this billing tab is regarding everything you as a service provider need to pay for everything we are offering. In this particular case, our entire business concept is based on consumption. So in this case, the service is using CPU and RAM, so computing power and memory, and different type of storages and a marketplace fee. So you get an easy, understandable overview what costs your service are actually producing, and you have an overview on which projects, so which of your customers is the person who bring in the costs for your particular service. In this case, I get a good overview that different projects need different kind of packages of my service and producing different kind of costs. So in general, for you, we have an overview about the cost your service is bringing into the system, and you can closer determine who is the person who brings in this cost. So that might not be that interesting for you because of the costs are something bad, and just for you to understand, it's easy understandable, and we don't talk about really in-depth analytics of your services like an AWS, for example, does it. You have hundreds of positions on an AWS bill, but we want to make it more easily for you to understand and to be more transparent on the cost side. If there are particular questions, just write it in the chat. I can answer them afterwards as well. But let's talk about business. If you want to make business with your service, we have some kind of licensing system. So if we want to sell our service, if someone is interested in our service, you can use our system, our provider portal also to manage your customers and to manage the licenses you have sold. If I have a new customer, first of all, we could define which parameters are part of my licenses. So what's the content of my license? Some people, especially in a SaaS context, have licenses based on a user side. So X people are able to use my service for a particular time frame. Or some other people say, I have a license model that's based on, I don't know, number of vehicles, for example, and you can totally freely define which is the content of your license. So for example, I want to, my default parameters for a license are users. I say 10 users can be charged, and because I'm super free, up to 50 people can use it. So we have a soft limit and a hard limit that is definable for your users. And I can totally customize everything to my license. For example, if I have some service that is related to vehicles or to devices, I can also bring in number of vehicles as a part of my license model. In this case, I don't know, I want to charge 20 vehicles, and you can use up to 13 as a hard limit. I save this thing, and now I can create a new license. So if someone want to buy my service, I can simply create a license package, give this thing a name. Let's call it, I don't know, customer package A. Give them a start and an end date. This license is available until, I don't know, maybe end of July. Give this package a price, say 20,000 euro. Type in the customer information, customer A, with the contact information. The entire thing I'm writing in here is totally hidden to everyone else than the specific roles in your space. So no one is able to see it. It's just for you to make some kind of customer management or some kind of sales management. Say test.com. No, there is no secondary email. And now I can define an organization ID. So this license is sold to a specific organization. I will show the entire organization behavior afterwards, but in this case, you can collect the organization ID, type it in, and then the license package is created. I don't want to look at the organization right now. That's why I'm not send it. But that's it. You define the license package how you want it with your content, and then the user can access your application and get an overview about the actual state of the license you've sold to him. But more to that afterwards. That's the part for businesses. It's a part for the people who want to sell it and are more interested in sales functionalities. What you're already also offering for developers that might be more interesting for the operators is this entire instance handling. As you might understood, what you as a provider or has to bring in our system is just source code. So you can upload the code, you define which packet you need from a runtime perspective, and that's it. If a user or if a customer want to buy your service, our approach is to give each and every customer his own runtime environment. Specifically in an automotive world, a lot of customers are interested in encapsulate their data or to containerize their data, so it's their own IP and their own infrastructure. That's why if someone want to use his service or request your service, he will get his own runtime environment. We build up their own infrastructure, some kind of virtual PC for each and every customer who want to use your application. That's important to understand because that's what our entire business model is based on. In this case, my application is already up and running on 6 different instances. 4 of them are healthy, 2 are stopped, none of them are unhealthy. And a lot of people already request my service. Of course, it's a demo purpose, so we have a lot of requests by different kind of people. And I could simply say, okay, there are a lot of new people who want to use my service. I already knew him. I can simply approve it. Once I approved it, the customer can start this application and a new instance will be popped up. These instances are already up and running. I see which customer in which project needs my application in which type of computing packages. I get an overview about what's the start date of it and what's the latest activation date. And of course, an operator, it might be possible that there are some interrupts or any problem with these instances, and I can get an overview with a lot of information regarding this particular instance for this particular customer. For example, the instance monitoring, as I already shown to you, we have an overview about the CPU usage and the pods and the replicas and so on, but it's really more technician thing. If you're interested in what we are offering for your operations and the development, what frameworks we're offering, what libraries we're offering, and so on, you should be part of the other webinar that is more developer specific. But I think for now it's good to understand we are offering easy to use operating tools to get an overview about all the customers' instances and get a monitoring system for each and everything out of the box. So let's take a look into our packages as well. Right now, it's possible to start your applications in different kind of resource packages. For example, if you have a customer with a really small team, 2, 3, 4 people who want to use a service, they don't need that high amount of computing power. So they can use an XS or XS package, for example. Or another customer have hundreds in a team and they need their own instance with a higher amount of resources. That's why we are offering different package sizes with different CPUs, with different computing cores, for example, or different memories. But in general, you can customize your runtime environment regarding your customers' needs. That's the main message for now. Okay, I think that's everything regarding the provider side. I have developed my application, I've tested it, I bring it into the marketplace, I've analyzed it, how it behaves in our marketplace, and I have a lot of tools to analyze my application and to get an overview how it's actually performing. So now jump into the perspective of a consumer. If let's say I'm someone who wants to be let's start differently. Let's say I'm an engineer who's involved in the development of some type of new vehicle. For example, an ADAS engineer or a fleet manager or a vehicle tester or someone who's involved in bringing the new idea of a software-defined vehicle in the world. Of course, we all know there are a lot of different roles and a lot of different knowledges is needed to bring it in our world. But let's say I'm an engineer or the team leader of an engineer who's looking for new tools for his actual team. He can go into our marketplace. Of course, he can Google it and came here. We have different kind of landing pages and so on. But let's say he's already in our marketplace and are interested in a specific topic. For example, he's looking for a solution for maybe data handling. He can simply search for a solution or use our tagging system. And now it sees, okay, we have different approaches for data handling in our marketplace already. Okay, let's see here. I have a remote bridge that might be interesting for me. And that's our marketplace appearance. Each and every service has this kind of overview. I can get information about the maturity of the service. Oh, cool, the service is already productive. It's up and running. I see the latest version when it's updated. Oh, the service is updated just a week ago perfectly. So everyone supports it right now. I can get an overview about the user documentation and everything that's needed to run the service. Okay, let's say I want to use it. This service in this particular case, I know that hardware is needed for that one. That's why this service is available. The service availability is set to limited because an initial setup is needed, an initial hardware setup is needed. But I can request the service anyway. Okay, let's have a closer look. What's up here? Let's say I want to use this FileSync. I have to understand what type of information this FileSync service needs. I have to to agree to the imprints, to the legal documents, to data privacy, and so on, because of course a lot of services in our platform have different kind of data privacy approaches. They have different kind of legal terms, and the platform can't be the one who's addressing each and every data privacy topic, for example. That's why as a service provider, you can bring in your own legal documents here, and the user need to specifically acknowledge or accept your terms, for example. Yeah, I want to use this FileSync service. Now I need to define in which context I want to use it. For example, we have our entire working space is divided into different sections. First of all, I have an organization, so my company. Currently I'm part of 2 different companies in our ecosystem, ETAS VCS, and in this organization I have multiple projects, so the actual working places for all the teams in my organization. I can define which project I want to start it. For example, I have a motorbike project where I want to use it. I can simply click on request, and the provider of the services, in this case Bosch Engineering GmbH, get a request in their service provider portal that I'm, as a user from this organization in this project, want to use this service. As you might remember, we have an overview about the service requests to easily manage all the requests from all the potential customers. But let's take a closer look on the organizations and the projects. Let's say I'm already registered in our system. I can. In this case, I have the ETAS organization, or I'm already part of the ETAS organization. That's why I have this type of terminal to understand what's up in my company. I can manage all the projects, all the working spaces within my company. I can manage the members of my organization. And of course, as you might remember, as a service provider, you create some kind of license packages. In this case, this company bought just one license of one service, but you also get an overview of each and every service they bought for their company. In this case, okay, the demo service is already active within the time frame, so I can use it till October, and this license costs me 100 euros. And of course, I can get an overview or a more detailed overview of the actual consumption of my license. In this case, it's just regarding the actual users of this license. 16 people use this the service. Oh, I just paid for 10, so I might contact the owner of this license because I reached his soft limit but not his hard limit. So I might increase my license volume. But I can also see which of my organizational projects are using this license as well. If I see, okay, in this specific motorbike project, 5 people are using the service, and in a truck project, it's only 4 people. So I can get an overview which of my teams are using which license in which way. That's the main idea behind that. Now, let's say I want to work. I'm an engineer. I want to work in my automotive project. In which type? I don't know. Let's say I'm part of the passenger cars project. That's our actual working space for the people who are using our platform. I have different kinds of basic functionalities. For example, our vehicle management, we have we have a solution to, let's call them digital twins, so you can easily manage the vehicles, so your fleets in here, get some all the meter informations you're using it. For example, what's all the VINs, the license plate, model description, and everything you need to save regarding your development vehicles. Also, you can put in your location in here and define every attribute you need for your daily work, for example. You can stuff your vehicle with equipment. If you have, for example, connectivity devices, sensor system, or whatsoever, you can also manage them into our system, and bring them into the vehicle and get an overview of how your actual vehicle is equipped, specifically in a pre-SOP context where development vehicles differs on a really high level. It's important to get an overview which type of sensor, which type of device is installed in which vehicle, which software version, and so on. That's why we're offering basic functionalities like vehicle management in here. Also, we have some kind of management tools in here, but that's not part for the presentation right now. We also can handle all the equipment in here. For example, if we have some kind of connectivity devices, CCUs, ECUs, whatsoever, we can manage them here as well with the current software version, installation dates, and so on. And also get connectivity tokens. If you have some smart device, some IoT device, or however you want to name it, some kind of Linux device who want to speak with our ecosystem, you can simply create connectivity tokens with one click. That makes the possibility that your device can speak with our platform, bring in data into our platform, or also using them. What we also have, and it's important to understand, we have a file space, a central file space for this specific project. So maybe on a non-technician way, you can understand it like some kind of Dropbox or Google Drive or OneDrive or whatever you're using. But it's project specific and it has a lot of more of metadata to use in general. But it's important to understand that this is a central file space for your project, and this file space can be used by the members of the project, but of course also by all the applications you're using in your company, you're using in your project. If, for example, if you have an application that is providing data from your vehicle, measurement data or whatsoever, they can upload the vehicles directly into this file space. And the second service can consume these files to, to aggregate it. And the third service can use these files, can use the aggregated files to make some kind of, machine learning algorithm out of it, or to train an ML or whatever. So we have different kind of central pods in our ecosystem that can be consumed by each and every services you want to use in your particular project space. It's important to understand. And let's see, in this specific project, I just bought the demo service and an OTA update service, and I can use it from here. I can start them, I can stop it, I can get an overview once again. And of course, I can buy new services directly from the project space as well. So I don't need to go into the marketplace each and every time. I can simply organize my project space and enlarge it with all the use cases that are available in our marketplace. Yeah, I think that's it from the project side, from the consumer side. Maybe just one more minute. Also, there are a lot of different challenges in a meter organization way. For example, if I'm using a platform with different kind of applications on it, I need one central point for documentation and for knowledge management. I don't want to use 100 different wikis or some documentation pages. That's why we are offering one central documentation for everything. And that's the main idea of the entire ecosystem, to bring in one central point for every use case. Doesn't matter if it's a development use case, if it's a support use case, or just to get information regarding the service, we have one entry point. In this particular case, we have this documentation page with, of course, the platform documentations on board, how to get on board, how to develop services. So everything I've told you in the last 30 minutes can be found on this documentation page as well. But also all the service documentation. Let's say in my project, I'm using an OTA service. I can simply type in here OTA and click on the name of the service, and I'll get the documentation of this particular service the service provider bring into our system. I didn't show it to you in the last section, but it's really easy. As you push your source code into our system, you can also push in documents or text files that can be rendered from our side. So you must simply push your documentation text into the system as well, and we are rendering such a fancy docu page with navigation types and everything that needs to be there to understand how your service performs. We're offering some kind of templates for that as well, so that it's really easy to get user documentation up and running. And also the support area. I don't want to use different support areas for different applications in our ecosystem. I don't want to check for different hotlines or different mail addresses and so on. That's where we are offering the support area as well. And they have a section for everything related to service management. I can ask questions for the platform and for the services I need. I can bring an incident or bug reports. I can make service requests, I don't know, regarding GDPR or regarding onboarding, I need help for onboarding and so on. And also for business requests, sales contacts and so on. And the last thing I want to show you is something that's important for me. As a product owner of the platform, we are offering a developer forum as well. So especially for you as a service provider, we want to build up a community. We want to bring in some help to help approach. So everyone who is involved in development knows how important development community is. That's why we already have a forum up and running, especially for developers of the services. So if you have questions regarding a new software versions, regarding interfaces, what we're offering, or if you're looking for a specific type of information and you don't know how to collect them from the system, you can simply ask in our forum, and hopefully one of our of the other service providers or developers can help you. But of course, it's also moderated from the platform team as well. If we talk about new releases, if we talk about APIs and so on, you can look into the forum and help other people or get help from with your concerns. Yeah, and I think that's it for now.
Great.
I will hand back to Laura. If you have questions, let it go.
Yeah, I would just quickly take over just for the last few seconds, because what I actually want to highlight is that we will have another webinar going on next week. It will be a bit more technical, and you will get to understand how to develop a service from A to Z. And if you like, you can scan the QR code or even register on the ETAS page. And the slides will be provided, so don't worry, you will have the QR code as well. So in addition, I also want to highlight, of course, all the different web pages Rico just showed will be also distributed to you so that you can quickly access everything. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for hosting. Thanks to the audience. Bye.